Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. Today we are bringing some serious energy to a completely fascinating source text that dives deep into cognitive health, memory, and what's really happening inside our heads when we just completely lose our train of thought. We're going to unpack the science behind something called synaptic fortification, so stick around, especially if you haven't had your coffee yet. It happens to the absolute best of us, right? You walk into the kitchen to grab something, and the second you cross the doorway, poof. It's gone. You're just standing there, staring at the wall, feeling like your brain literally just rebooted without your permission. It's so frustrating. But as our source text today argues, this isn't just some harmless daily quirk. It claims that here in the US, we're actually facing a massive cognitive crisis. People in their 30s and 40s are starting to report the kind of severe memory issues that we used to only see in people well into their 70s. We all casually call it brain fog, but neuroscientists have a much more alarming name for it. They call it synaptic erosion. According to the research we're looking at today, this isn't just you being a little tired. It's an active biological degradation process, and it's driven by something called a brain drain enzyme. Think about that. This enzyme is literally eating away at your neural pathways over time. It completely shifts brain fog from a daily annoyance to a very real, measurable biological event. Okay, let's dive right into section 1, the caffeine trap, and how we're just masking the problem. So when we feel that fog rolling in, what do? We have a very specific default response, don't we? We reach for more coffee, more sugar, another energy shot. We genuinely think these things give us true brain power. But the text outlines how this is actually a massive psychological and biological trap. See, stimulants don't actually make you smarter. They don't give you actual sustainable energy at all. They simply block the tired signal in your brain. You aren't fixing anything, you're just making yourself way more anxious while completely ignoring the root cause. I absolutely love this vivid metaphor from the source material. It says, it's like putting a piece of tape over the low fuel light in your car. Just think about that. The warning light is gone, out of sight, out of mind, right? But your cognitive tank is still completely empty. You're just driving on fumes, pretending everything is totally fine, while your engine is seriously struggling. Let's walk through the exact biological chain of events the text describes here. Step 1, you drink the stimulant. Step 2, it blocks that tired signal. But Step 3? Step 3 is where the real damage happens. Caffeine actually causes your brain's blood vessels to constrict, which measurably reduces the oxygen flow to your neural tissues over time. And that leads right into Step 4, the inevitable crash. Here's the absolutely crucial point. During this entire cycle, that underlying brain drain enzyme we talked about, it goes completely unchecked. It's just eroding your neurotransmitters while you are distracted by that temporary jolt. So if stimulants aren't the answer, what on earth is? Well, that brings us to section 2, synaptic fortification and the neuro reset mechanism. Here, the source text shifts gears and proposes a very specific solution. It's a 7-second morning ritual called NeuroPrime. To explain how it works, the text uses a really brilliant visual. It says to think of your brain like a high-speed fiber optic network. Over time, as that brain drain enzyme does its dirty work, those cables get frayed. And when the cables fray, the signal drops. Information gets lost. That frayed cable, that is the actual biological reality of why you forget why you walked into the kitchen in the first place. To fix this, the text introduces a precise blend of neuronutrients. You can think of them as a biological repair crew for those frayed cables. Their main target? Boosting a super crucial neurotransmitter called acetylcholine. Now, acetylcholine is widely known as the learning molecule. The claim here is that when your acetylcholine levels are high, your brain can process information so much faster. You store memories more effectively, and you can effortlessly maintain that highly focused flow state for hours on end, totally skipping that typical mental fatigue. But the text argues that the real secret weapon of this formulation is how it addresses neuroplasticity. It actually encourages your brain to create brand new connections. It describes this as essentially upgrading your mental hardware while you work. It's literally the difference between trying to run a heavy program on an old clunky operating system versus booting up a brand new supercomputer. So let's look at what actually makes up this formula. Moving right along to section 3, the Nootropic Powerhouse inside the clinical grade stack. The source explicitly refers to this formulation as a clinical-grade nootropic stack. It emphasizes that this isn't just a standard multivitamin you grab off the shelf. It is a highly targeted biological tool. First up, it points to Bacopa Monnieri, which is an ancient herb linked in U.S. clinical trials to significant improvements in memory acquisition and retention. Then we have Huperzine A, which the text claims acts as a literal guard for your newly produced neurotransmitters. Next is alpha GPC, labeled as the absolute gold standard for mental clarity and power. And finally, phosphatidylserine. This is included to help lower the stress hormone cortisol, theoretically allowing you to stay totally calm and focused, even under really high-pressure deadlines. As you can see, every single compound is linked to a specific cognitive benefit. The text also makes some really strong claims regarding safety and manufacturing. It highlights that every capsule of NeuroPrime is manufactured right here in the USA, inside an FDA-registered facility following the strictest GMP standards. It's non-GMO, it's gluten-free, and most importantly, it's heavily emphasized as being non-habit forming. As the source material perfectly puts it, it gives you the edge without the edginess. It's a direct, healthy contrast to that anxiety-inducing caffeine trap we looked at earlier. So the big question is, how long does this repair process actually take?
Let's check out Section 4, the efficacy guarantee, focusing on time and peace of mind.
The manufacturer is completely transparent that this is a biological process. It's not magic, it takes a little bit of time. According to the source, the timeline looks exactly like this. Day 1 is when you begin that 7-second morning ritual. But interestingly, they acknowledge that true cognitive repair requires patience. They state that day 90 is the minimum time required to fully reprime those neural pathways. You simply have to give the biological repair crew enough time to fix the frayed cables. And that logic leads directly to day 180, which marks the end of their rather incredible evaluation period. Yes, you heard that right, 180 days. That is 6 full months. The source text leans incredibly heavily on this 180-day, 100% money-back guarantee. Framing this objectively, presenting a half-year guarantee is used in the text to demonstrate the manufacturer's ultimate confidence in their own claims. The stated promise is that if you aren't thinking faster, remembering more, and feeling way more switched on after giving your brain the proper time to heal, well, your investment is entirely returned to you, no questions asked. Which brings us to our final thought for today. It's a highly memorable and provocative question derived right from the text. Will you flip the switch on your brain's potential, or let your best years slip away in a fog of, I forgot? The source material makes a really compelling argument about the biological realities of brain fog, and it presents a highly structured nootropic solution to combat it. It definitely leaves you eager to think a bit more deeply about your own cognitive health, doesn't it? Thanks so much for hanging out and learning with me today on this explainer, and I really hope this provided some fascinating clarity on the incredible complexities of the human mind.